winning awards and things like that. And even if you are not a committee officer, you can still come up with different ideas of things to do in those project areas. Like I said, we have a bunch of different project areas. These are the projects that we have county project meetings for. Food and nutrition project, which is a big fall time project. There's different contests. There's a food show. There's a food, what do y'all? Quiz Bowl and Food Challenge, which is kind of like Food Challenge is kind of like Iron Chef, where you get your group together and you're given your ingredients and you have to make something out of it and see how close you can get it to the actual recipe, which they don't give you. There's Clothing and Textiles project, which will come up in the spring. Actually, Clothing project was my big project when I was in 4-H. I'm from San Antonio. I couldn't raise livestock, so we did outdoor project and sewing. So I can sew on buttons. I don't remember most of it, but I can still sew on a button. But there's fashion show. There's one where you can design dog clothes and jewelry and shoes and all that kind of stuff. We have a gardening, horticulture, field crops, range, basically a plant science project. We have a couple of range evaluation teams. We also have a lot of kids that are real interested in growing plants and vegetables. Public speaking and leadership, that's another project that myself and the committee runs. We call it Building Community Communicators, and we've had really good response with that project. We've had kids that went from never having spoken in front of a group last year to winning their best speech in their category at the district contest this time. So, I mean, we had probably 10 to 15 different sweepstakes awards, which are the best speech in the room, and a lot of those kids were in that project, so they really enjoy public speaking when it's put into something that they can actually do. We also have a sport fishing project. They meet the second Saturday of every month, and that's been a real popular project the last couple of years just because it was something we didn't offer before. We used to have it in 4-H, it went away for a while, and now it's back, and people really like it. The Outdoor Challenge, or Outdoor Wildlife Project, is where we do the Outdoor Challenge, 10 events. We do camping skills and starting a fire and climbing and swimming and fishing and all that kind of stuff, shooting sports. This is a really fun project. If you like to be active and outside, it's a good project to be in. We do have a horse project committee that is run in conjunction with our horse club. They do a play day, a horse play day every year, and we're trying to get to the point where we can have a county horse show. Vet Science is run by Mr. DeKewitt, and that would be her husband and her dad. And he took over a couple of years ago. They do a really good job with that project. We have kids that have been in there for multiple years. And at the conclusion of that project, if you're in for all 5 years, then you can have your credits necessary to obtain the vet assistant technician certification. So it's a good step. If you want to be a vet, it's a good step to go. We have a dog project. We have 2 different dog projects in this county. We have a dog obedience training project on this side of the county, and then in the Schertz area, we have a dog agility training project. And that one just got started, so be looking for more information on that. We also have a livestock project. That's the old standard that everybody knows, 4-H is livestock, but we also do a lot of other things other than livestock. But most of our kids, I'd say 60% of our kids are involved in 4-H livestock projects, which is good. It's a good way to learn responsibility and making a quality product, because that's what we're doing, is we're raising animals for food supply.
And just, sorry, Nick, just going back, for those that are in the urban clubs, they can still do livestock, or just be rabbits?
Yes, there is the rabbit project you can do on your back porch or in an apartment on the little, what do you call that, a balcony. You can also participate in livestock judging, which is a big thing in our county. We have one of the best livestock judging coaches in the state. And that way you can still be around, learn about livestock animals, but you don't have to own them. And we're actually going to a contest on Saturday. Photography project is another one that we do. It's a big project in this county. We have, like I said, 50 or 60 kids enter photographs and different things. We have a robotics, science, engineering, technology project. which has really gotten off the ground. They meet in Marion the first Tuesday of every month. And then entomology, which meets the first Wednesday of every month at 5 o'clock at the Big Red Barn. That one's a little difficult for y'all on the opposite side of the county to get to. But it's a project where all of our different resources are in one place. I don't really know why it's switching by itself, but that's great. Community service is a big part of 4-H as well. Like I said, we have the project area. The next area would be community service. It's part of the 4-H project, so you have to do it for that. But it builds life skills through service learning. And why is that so important? What is service learning? Service learning is doing some kind of service project and being able to understand why you're doing it and learning and actually understanding that it's not just a bake and take project. Oh, we're doing a food drive and we're taking the food to the food bank and we drop it off and that's it. It requires a little bit more of reflection and self-involvement. So one of the things that it does, it teaches responsibility, ethics, empathy, teamwork, problem solving, critical thinking, money management, a lot of different things. It's very, very important. People like to see it when you're applying for college. People like to see it when you're applying for scholarships. It's very, very important in that respect. And then to help our communities, because there's so many people in our communities that cannot help themselves or are not able to help themselves. Not just people, but animals. We're doing a item drive for animal shelters right now. So there's a lot of different areas that community service goes into in our county. We do about 5 countywide projects a year, plus each club does their own. Leadership is another big part of 4-H. We've talked a little bit about leadership, but there's different areas of leadership. We talked about project leadership. There's also service leadership, which is leadership over a community service project. So if you have a project that you would like to do, come to me, go to your club manager, and we can make it a countywide project, and you can be in charge of that project. And that's important, because not only is it community service, but it's leadership over that service. And that looks really good on a resume or different things like that. There's also personal leadership, so learning how to make yourself a better leader. And that's part of what the public speaking project is, the Building Community Communicator project, is learning different leadership strategies, how to lead groups, how to make people listen to you when it's a really rough group that you're talking to. It is doable, it's just kind of difficult. And there's different opportunities for leadership in everything that we do. You can be on 4-H Council, an officer, you can be a 4-H ambassador. Like I said, we'll talk more about 4-H ambassadors later in the year. Be on the project development committee, run a service project. All these different things give you leadership experiences. And one of the things when you apply for college, when you apply for scholarships, they ask you, who did you lead? What did you do to lead those people? How many people did you reach? How many people did you touch through your experiences? And that's an important part of 4-H. Like I said, 4-H, it's all-encompassing. The only thing we don't do is organize team sports. And they started with golf a couple of years ago, so I'm sure that's somewhere in the future. But I don't ever see the 4-H football team competing against Steel or Seguin or something like that. But that's the only thing we don't do. We do sports management, sports nutrition, things like that. But everything else, science, engineering, technology, livestock, plant science, vet science, everything else under the sun we offer in 4-H. Like I said, this is going to be a monthly series that we offer to teach people about 4-H. We're also going to put it on YouTube for everybody to see. If you weren't able to come tonight, or if you'd like to show it to somebody, it'll be on there. But that's it for tonight. Do y'all have any questions starting out? Everyone always has questions.
I have lots of them, but
Go ahead.
I mean, I just thought it when we joined 4-H, who requests our grades? Do we turn them into y'all? I have those kind of questions.
Okay.
I mean, how do we find out about all those things that you just went through? I mean,
Right.
like new FFA, they told us everything.
Right. We have 3 ways that we get out information. One, we have a monthly extension newsletter. And once you register in 4-H and pay the fee, then you're supposed to get a monthly newsletter from our office that talks about everything that's coming up that month. One thing that I started doing a couple of years ago was made a 4-H Gazette. So it's a 3-month newsletter more of a newspaper format, has pictures and all that kind of stuff in it, links that you can click on. I'm still trying to figure out how to put videos in it. That is emailed out to everybody in the county. It's also on our county website. I post the link to Facebook, and that has all of our major project experiences, project meetings, big events, programs that we do within the next 3 months. So right now we're in the middle of the current Gazette. It was September through November. The next one that comes out will be December through February, and it'll have everything that happens in that 3-month period that we know about at the time that I put it together. Some things come up, and then I try to send out as many broadcast mass emails to everybody, that way everyone knows what's going on. The other way that I do a lot of stuff is through Facebook. I put a lot of stuff on our county Facebook page, Guadalupe County 4-H. I put everything that's in our Gazette, I try to copy it and paste it on there, that way we have all that on there. That's where I put anything new that comes up, we put it on there as well. I also have a 4-H Instagram app, page, whatever you want to call it, that my 4-Hers actually are the ones that kind of run and add photos to that and advertise things. I think that's Guadalupe 4-H, number sign, Guadalupe 4-H. But we try to get the information out to as many people as possible. As for like checking grades, what we do with that is when y'all go to enter a contest, for instance, a stock show or something like that, we do it a little bit different in this county. Some people, they give you the letter and you go to the school and you have the principal fill it out and then you take it back to me and I sign off on it. In this county, let's say you go to Seguin High School. We write a letter to the school district or to the registrar and that says basically, tell us if there is anybody of these kids that are not passing their classes. They can't tell us the grades or anything like that. We just want to know if you're academically eligible to attend that contest. If it comes back good, then that's fine. Y'all are good to go. And then y'all would just need to tell the school exactly which days you would be gone. So when we send it out for, like, let's say San Antonio Stock Show, we'll say person A, B, and C are going to be going to the San Antonio Stock Show from February 1st to February 15th. Of course, you're not going to probably be gone 15 days in a row. So after we get that letter out, then you go to the school about a week in advance and tell them we're going to be gone the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And that's kind of how that works. If we find out that you're not academically eligible, I will call the school first to make sure it's not a mistake, because we have had mistakes before. Or maybe if it's an AP class, different school districts have it. If it's an AP class and you don't have a passing grade in that, then it doesn't count towards your eligibility status because it's an AP class or dual credit or whatever it might be. So I'll double check with the school district first, and if they still tell me no, then I will call you, and then my secretary will send an email and let you know that you're not eligible to come to something. We have a handful that are not eligible every year. By and large, when we have our kids in 4-H tend to have good grades because they've learned time management. They have to, they don't have a choice. So, you know, when you get home, you study and all that kind of stuff. But that's kind of how we...
So is it like this grade period, you can't go to county that we just passed if you're not passing, or is it like time period?
Each school district has their 6 weeks or 9 weeks or whatever it is. So let's say at the start of that 6 weeks, you're not eligible to go. You can get your eligibility back when they do, I guess, the mid-term checkups. You can get that eligibility back. There is a week-long window in there. So if they say you're not eligible, but you will be eligible at the end of this or at the start of this next period, there is a week-long window in there that you are still not eligible. But you cannot, let's say you're starting at the beginning of the 6 weeks, you can gain eligibility back, but you can't lose it halfway through. Does that make sense? I had to learn all the UIL stuff when I started. I was homeschooled. We didn't have to deal with it. So it's been a learning experience to figure out what all is wanted with these UIL rules. Anything else?
Does anyone come and visit our animals or give us advice?
Yes. what you do, I am the 4-H agent, so I don't come a lot out to people's houses just because it's not my background. I don't know a lot about livestock. We have 2 ag agents, Travis Frankie and Jeff Hanselka. If you call over here and say, we'd like you to come look at our animals, they will come out to your house, they'll look at the animals. Jeff helps a lot when we're trying to figure out which chickens to keep for the show. Sheep and goats. Travis is much more of a swine person, and he'll look at your tree. If you have a dying tree, he can tell you what's wrong with the tree too. But yeah, we do project visits as often as possible, especially as it gets closer to the show, to tell you what else you can do to get that animal ready for the show. Like I said, it's similar to, I don't know how they do, I was not an FFA obviously because I was homeschooled, but we try to we also work with our ag teachers really well in this county. Some counties we're not as lucky, but this county we work well with our ag teachers. If y'all ever have other questions, shoot me a message on Facebook. My cell phone number is plastered on every email and everything that I send. Send me a text message, an email. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I always have my phone on me. It's been buzzing about 15 times since I've been talking to y'all tonight. And probably half of those are 4-H questions. So, any other questions? All right, well, thank y'all for coming. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video. And then if y'all have other questions, you can tell me as well.